Hello, my friends, and welcome to your show, the MMA Grand and Pam Show. I'm your host, Enrique Solorzano, and first of all, I would like to welcome you to the Spanglish Sports World TV network on Single TV channel 250. Please remember to download both the Spanglish Sport World and the Single TV app in the respective app store on iOS and Android devices. Remember that both apps are free. And while you download them, please make sure to rate and leave a comment. And Single TV is also available on Google Chromecast and Chromecast TV sticks, Amazon Fire and Fire TV sticks, Roku and Roku TV sticks, and also on all smart TVs 2016 forward. So, uh, like like I think you know is we didn't have any UFC events this weekend. So, but there are plenty of news on the MMA world, of course. So we'll talk about Marvin Vettori versus Kevin Holland. So that fight is happening, and we're gonna talk a little bit about how this fight came up and started, right? Then I would like to talk about Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier 3. So that was something I think we already knew it was going to happen. It was going to happen, but now it's maybe a little bit official. Then I will talk about Gilbert Burns versus Wonderboy. This fight is official, so I think this will be a welterweight title eliminator. And I will wrap up with Jan Blachowicz versus Francis Ngannou. So let's start with the main event of this Saturday fight. So, well, we have Marvin Vettori versus Kevin Holland. So this Saturday we have a UFC event, but let's talk about this fight. So let's. So first of all, so yeah, like this weekend we are having a UFC event, but this event had to change because at first the UFC had planned Marvin Vettori versus Darren Till. But Darren Till, he had to withdraw from this fight due to injury because he fractured his collarbone. And this hasn't happened as often as it had before because now like if fighters are stepping down of fights normally it's because they have testing positive for COVID-19 or they still have complications of COVID-19 like for example, like Volkanovski, right? And I remember back in the day, Cain Velasquez was a fighter that used to like get injured because he used to take his training to the extreme. Same thing for Khabib, and actually that Jim, aka Jim, became famous uh, due to most of his athletes getting injured by because they used to put their body to the limits, right? So, well, these things happen, and obviously Darren Till was very upset about this happening, and he posted on Instagram that he was heartbroken, that he was really sad, and obviously Vittori he complained, he made fun of Darren Till, but the thing is that Kevin Holland, who I think it might be 2020's biggest surprise, and he stepped in and he asked for the fight. And like they say, right? Ask and you should receive. So now we have a new main event, and it will be Kevin Holland versus Marvin Vettori. So, well, Kevin Holland, as you may know, like I've talked about him in almost all the shows. He, like last year, he pulled off something amazing. He fought 5 years, sorry, five times in 1 year, and he surpassed this great MMA fighter, Israel Adesanya, who fought 4 times. So he surpassed him by fighting 5 times, and he won. all of those 5 times, which is something amazing. And now, like he lost a couple of weeks ago. Derek Bronson broke his winning streak, and well, Derek Bronson, he's a very skilled wrestler, right? So what happened is that he used his wrestling experience against Holland, and Kevin Holland was dominated for 5 rounds. So I understand that Kevin Holland is upset about losing and how he lost. And if you watch that fight, he didn't look like himself. Right? Obviously, like Bronson was the better fighter that night, and he showed it. And so this move by Holland is a very bold move, and I think it's a win-win situation for everybody. Like for us, because we're gonna have a main event, and Marvin Vettori is one of the biggest promises in middleweight, and I think he may be 1 or 2 fights away to fight for the title. And for Holland, it will be great if he wins, right? Because, like I said, Vettori is one of the best fighters now in middleweight. So he'll make a statement and he will move not a couple of places, maybe 5 or 8 places. He will get into the top 10 for sure, maybe top 5. And he will come back. He will bounce from a loss, right? And if he loses, well, he can say that he didn't do a full training camp, that he wasn't prepared, and well, like I totally understand if he doesn't get W. So he looks motivated and he is willing to get W. But honestly, I don't know if he can pull it off. I don't know because, like I said, Vittori is a big fighter. He's a big fighter for middleweight. And even though Holland did something incredible last year by winning 5 times straight, I don't know if he can like pull it off again. And even though last year he beat Jacare Souza, who is an amazing wrestler and a great fighter, but with Vittori, I don't know. It will be very entertaining for sure, and I will be watching this Saturday. And I don't know. I hope he gets it because, like I said, I don't know what happened to him. He didn't look like himself from the last fight, so maybe he will take it seriously and maybe he will get W. I don't know. But this event, it was going to be interesting. Now it's more interesting. Okay, so now let's talk about this fight that I think we all knew was going to happen, right? So yeah, Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier 3. So like some days ago, Dustin Poirier he tweeted that he had signed the contract, and he said that everything was good to go, right? So we didn't know what he was referring to, but we like could figure, right? It wasn't hard to figure out what was going or which fight was it, right? So there was a hint to his next fight. And last Friday, Conor McGregor he tweeted that the fight is booked and it will take place on July 10th, and that he is willing to destroy. So I think this is a very smart move by McGregor because as soon as he lost that fight, he said that he wanted to be active. He wanted to be more active, right? He wanted to fight 2 or 3 times a year, and that he wanted to run it back with Dustin Poirier. And yeah, like he's a very smart businessman. Why? Because well, July is the biggest month for the UFC, and I'm 100% sure that this will be the biggest event, and it will be the main event for Fight Week, right? And this will be a good fight for both of them, money wise, because yeah, they will make a lot of money, and Dustin Poirier knows that. That's why he skipped the fight to get the lightweight title, which is going to take place with Charles Oliveira and Michael Chandler. They're going to fight for the belt. while Dustin will fight McGregor. And I think it's a very smart move by Dustin, and he deserves it 100% because I think he is already the champ. I think he is the champ. He doesn't have the belt, but he's the champ because he has beaten everybody in the division, and he dominated McGregor. And yeah, like he honestly deserves it. This fight is going to be very interesting as well. Why? Because on the first fight, McGregor he got the W. He won like in the first round. And on the second one, Dusty he got it. He won in the second round. And after McGregor lost, everybody was coming up with a theory, right? Like what happened to Conor McGregor? So some people they think that McGregor's problem was that he was very stiff. Normally, like when he fights, he's moving, his stance is more relaxed, and this time he was very stiff. Some people they say that he didn't fight for more than a year, so that the problem is that maybe he had ring rust, that he needs to be more active. Some people said that Conor thought that that fight was going to be an easy fight, and obviously Dustin Poirier he he was a good fighter when they met for the first time, and obviously he has improved a lot. So now he's a better fighter. He demonstrated on the second fight. And while this is going to be a bold move, and so because McGregor he has a huge challenge ahead of him. Now Dustin Poirier is arguably the best in the division. So Conor McGregor he needs to go back to the drawing board and see what went wrong on this fight. Right, he also needs to train hard, to train really hard. Maybe go back to basics, see what he did wrong on the last fight. And it's something that he has done previously. When he fought Nate Diaz, I think I think it was going to be an easy day for him in the office, so to speak. Then Nate Diaz pulled the upset, right? And on the second fight, McGregor he looked way better. He looked like a better fighter, and even though he couldn't get the knockout, he dominated for that fight. So I hope he gets it done. It's going to be a very entertaining fight. Both fighters are like Poirier for sure. He's on the top of his game. For McGregor, I think he needs to go back and train like the old days. And now, like just an hour ago, I he tweeted something related to that. That before he used to train all day. He didn't take days off, even like only unless were necessary, right? So I think he knows what he needs to get the W. And I think I'm a huge Conor McGregor fan, so I'm rooting for him, and I hope he can get it. He can get it done. And July is going to be a great month for MMA fans. Okay, so now let's talk about another fight that was announced like some days ago, and it's Gilbert Burns versus Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. So, well, uh, we have on this same card, we're going to have this fight, which I think is going to be a banger. So, Gilbert Burns versus Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. So, I don't know if you know, but I'm a huge fan of Wonderboy. He is like maybe one of the few fighters who has a karate style, which I love. I used to do karate, so I love that, and I love his style, and I love how he carries himself inside the octagon and outside the octagon. So, well, what about Gilbert Burns? So, Burns he lost his last fight against the champ Cameron Usman, but he gave him like a hell of a fight. He stumped him for a couple of times, and I think Gilbert Burns he looked really good on that fight. Obviously, Usman was the better man that night, but now uh, Usman is a very tough puzzle to solve. But what about Thompson? So Thompson, he has won two of his last three fights. And like I said, I love his style, but he needs to be more aggressive for this fight because Burns, he he's a very aggressive fighter and very explosive. So Thompson, he needs to change his approach for this fight. And the thing with Thompson as well is that his last wins have been by decision. So he's a dominant fighter, but now it's getting harder for him to get to knock out his opponents. So he has great cardio. He goes all the way to get that decision. But I think you heard this a lot of times. Never leave it to the judges. Okay, so now Thompson he's ranked number 5. He has a record of 16-4, which is pretty impressive, and he is one of the best fighters in the division. But like I said, he needs to change his style or see what he can do to step up and adapt to Burns' aggressive style, because Burns is a very aggressive fighter who likes to go forward. And we saw that when he fought Kamaru Usman, he was pushing the pace, right? He was moving forward. And this fight, I think, this could be if it's not a title eliminator fight. And I think this will be a good opportunity for Thompson to get his last shot at the title. Why? Because he's 38. So maybe this could be his last run for the title. And I think he deserves to get the title. It would be great to have a karate fighter as the champ. And as you may know, I love Lyoto Machida. Have a T-shirt of Lyoto Machida because I love his style. So this fight is a very exciting fight. I think it's something that the division needed for sure to like for it to gain more momentum, because now we have Kamaru Usman versus Masvidal, which honestly doesn't make sense. Like ranking wise, money wise, yeah, it makes a lot of sense because Jorge Masvidal is going to to make it very attractive for his fans, and I think it's going to take place in Miami. So it's going to be a sold out arena for sure. And yeah, like the other contender is Colby Covington. And I understand why so many people don't like him, but he is a great fighter. He dominated Rafael dos Anjos. He gave a hell of a fight against Kamaru Usman. And like I can't wait to see Colby Covington fighting Usman again, and maybe later fight against Wonderboy Thompson. So that will be a great fight to see. So another great fight for this UFC card on July, which looks impressive. Even though we just know about 2 fights, it looks really, really, really attractive. Okay, so let's wrap up this show with another fight that may be happening, which is Jan Blachowicz versus Francis Ngannou. So I don't know if you're aware, but there's a lot of drama going on in the heavyweight division because, well, Francis Ngannou, he became the new UFC heavyweight champ of the world last week by defeating Stipe Miocic, who I think is the greatest heavyweight of all time. So Ngannou is champ now, and John Jones, he wants to move to heavyweight. He has gained some weight. He vacated the light heavyweight title. He has been asking for this fight. But now that he may get the fight, he has complained that the UFC is not paying him enough. So, like he has been very vocal about the situation on Twitter, that he has been in negotiations with the UFC that he wants to get paid what he's worth, right? So between like this drama, Jambo Kowics, the light heavyweight champ, he said that he's willing to move to heavyweight and fight Ngannou, and that he has an advantage over Ngannou because he has Polish pound. So obviously this didn't make John Jones very happy, and he got so mad, and he said that he should build his own legacy, and he asked Blachowicz to win 10 titles. Well, I think that tweet was a little, maybe a bit harsh for Blachowicz, because yeah, like Blachowicz is not the kind of fighter who likes to like talk trash about uh, his opponents, right? But I think John Jones is right. I think John Jones is right. He has defended the title 12 times. He is maybe the best enemy fighter now, right? Maybe in the history. And he has the chance to prove that. I understand that he wants to get paid properly, but I hope he can he can negotiate with the UFC, because if this fight doesn't happen, it's going to be like such a disappointment. Also, Derek Lewis, he said that he is willing to take 8 million to fight Francis Ngannou, which I think for him will be a good payday. But obviously, he hasn't achieved what John Jones has achieved, and that fight it won't be as interesting as the one with John Jones. And they fought for before, and that fight was very boring. I think it's one of the worst fights in heavyweight history. So, well, my friends, there you have it. I don't think we will see Jan Blachowicz, but it's good to see that he's willing to step up. And I wish we can see John Jones against Francis Ngannou. So, well, my friends, that will be everything for today. Would like to remind you about UFC Fight Night with Tori versus Holland this Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. And remember to tune in Mondays for results and analysis, and Wednesdays for predictions and analysis from 7 to 7:25 p.m. Remember to follow Spanglish Sport World at Spanglish Sport W. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. And remember, this is a conversation. Let me know what you think at Enrique Thompson X. This show can also be heard on the Spanglish World Radio Network. Please check out SpanglishWorld.ca for all the news and programming. Spanglish Sports World. Watch it, hear it, read it, download it, live it. I'll see you on the next one. Let's